And now, I shall resurrect Slifer the Sky Dragon!
Oh man, he just brought back an Egyptian god!
Slifer's attack points are determined by the number of cards in my hand. And since I'm holding 4, he now has 4,000 points!
Hey guys, this is Slifer Maniac. Guys, it's time for another deck profile right there. We're coming closer, we're drawing nearer to the end of Battle City with each deck profile. And I just had a pattern in all the whole of the shenanigans. So as if you might witness already, I made the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, or even a little bit more, the servants of Yami Marek, or of Marek rather, and I prioritized them, beginning with the Seeker Rare Hunter, then going to Arcana and all those until how is called strings and all those. And now his most important servant is Odion Ishtar, because Odion Ishtar will be the very one saving him. Who wants to have more background information to this character, I'm bringing right about on the character of the week, which will of course be this very gentleman right there. Without further ado, just tap into his deck profile, because there's many things to say about that in general. There it is. So I'm just opening it up. So the deck profile of Odion Ishtar is very much trap based. It is one of the, I think, even the most trap based deck. I didn't ever catch a deck profile that had so many traps in the series. Because even Odion tells right about the fact that all of the traps that we witnessed, he has even more in store, or rather he hinted that, because Joey Wheeler made a comment like, oh, can you not play out any monsters? When he was like, this game is basically called Dual Monsters because we are fighting each other with our monsters. And Odion then replied something like that. Oh, if you find any rule that doesn't say I cannot play out any trap cards, or the deck can rather consist of a lot of trap cards, then tell me. So, I gave Odion Ishtar some monster cards as well, but as a matter of fact, he did have also a couple of them, but yeah. We come to that later. Like I said, it's trap based, but there's also significant spell cards in here, which lead eventually to one monster card even, or rather 2, which are key and central to the strategy of this deck. So, as this monster lineup, I myself made up the Ancient Jar. Now, this wasn't a card that he had in his deck actually, but I think this Egyptian theme is very strong in this deck, and this could be a card he would have in his deck, just to make it seem very weak, into luring his opponent into attacking him, because Ancient Jar is an Earth attribute, rock type monster with 400 attack and 200 defense. As a matter of fact, it's a vanilla monster, and it's not having really much attack nor defense stats. So it's a very good strategy into bringing your opponent into attacking you. He would rather maybe play it into attack position in order to line up his traps behind it and then lure your opponent to attack it. Look at this creepy artwork right there. Really, really looks like someone or something is lurking in the shadow and is waiting with this big eye to come out. That monster makes the name of dual monsters all the honor. It brings really on the honor. So, you guys could now argue with me like, okay, it wasn't in his deck, and it's an OCG card, so you might exchange it maybe with Morphing Jar to make it better playable. But I thought at this rate in Battle City, we had in many decks vanilla, so like in my Tsunami we had also a very weak vanilla monster, which was I think Flying Fish with, I don't know, 600 attack, something like that. So it's very much possible that this card could have been in there. Solitude, 3 stars, also an Earth attribute. I think it's in Fiend or Beast type, I don't know, I'm not sure. But I researched it. Once they said it was Beast type, once they said it was in Fiend type. So anyway, 1050 attack and 1000 defense. I think from the artwork also it does fit a little bit, because the Odion deck is very much mystical in nature. So I thought it would be logical to conclude that he would, if he would have any other monsters than he had, then it would be monsters like these and other themes or topics that I always found in his deck would make all the sense in the world. Is there were scorpions and there were snakes, so I also made a monster lineup which would take that into account. Giant Scorpion of Tundra, Earth attribute, 3 stars, 1100 attack and 1000 defense. I don't know what, the camera is not that sharp today. I just have to, there it is. Okay, a Giant Scorpion of Tundra, so there we go. 1100 attack and 1000 defense. Cool artwork, by the way. Then further, I have Nightmare Scorpion. By the way, this of course is a feet type monster, I think. Also an Earth attribute, 2 stars, 900 attack and 200 defense. An insect type monster, but also a Scorpion, so also it does fit. Steel Scorpion, the first effect monster. Although all those, he didn't possess all those monsters, but yeah, he had the Scorpion theme in his deck, so I thought it might make sense in all the sense in the world. Earth attribute, 1 star. Come on, camera, help me. I don't know what problems this camera today has, but yeah, there we go. Machine type, 250 attack and 300 defense. Now it's also got an effect, and the effect works like that. If a monster is not machine type and attacks the Steel Scorpion, is destroyed in the second turn after that attack. So a practical effect right there. A little bit toxic, venom-like, letting the opponent's monster dying slow, you might say. Then 8 Claws Scorpion, the first dark attribute, 2 stars, 300 attack and 200 defense, an insect type. You can flip this card into face down defense position once per turn during the main phase. When this card targets a face down defense position monster on your opponent's side of the field and battle, the attack of this card becomes 2400 during that damage calculation only. So very much against defense position monster postures of your opponent. It has very convenient effect. Then the snake theme in there. We have 1 Cobra Jar, Earth attribute, 2 stars, reptile with a 600 attack and 300 defense. and it's got a flip effect. Special summon 1 poisonous snake token, reptile type, earth, attribute 3 stars, attack 1200, attack 1200, defense. When the poisonous snake token is destroyed as a result of battle, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points. So even if it's destroyed, we got a token that we can special summon, like I would put it face down in defense position, of course. Look at that sleeve, very much the Egyptian theme in there, hieroglyphs. Yeah, so there we go. Then further on, I have Cobra Mansakusian here. I don't know if you guys realize it, but in the Egyptian lore, divinity lore, the Cobra is also a divine creature representing one of the gods. I don't know the name anymore. I don't recall it. But an earth attribute, 3 stars, reptile, 800 attack, 1400 defense. So like goddess, you know what I mean. It's like they are believing in many gods. So yeah. Yeah, it's called polytheistic belief that I have. Mask of Darkness, dark attribute, 2 stars, fiend type monster, 900 attack and 400 defense. Because this deck's got many trap cards. This card has a flip effect. If it's flipped up, or if you flip it face up, then you can return one of the trap card from the graveyard back to your hand. Man with Rot. It very much looks like Odion with its cloak. So I thought this one would make also sense. Dark attribute, 4 stars, and spellcaster type, 1600 attack and also 1600 defense. And it effects goes like that. If this monster is normal summoned in each of your standby phases, as long as this card is face up open on the field, choose one face down card on the opponent's side of the field. Look it up, and then bring it back to the position that it was before. So you can like expose a little bit of strategy and tactics of your opponent with that effect. And I put in there the Millennium Scorpion, again with the Scorpion theme, of course. An Earth attribute, 5 stars, insect type, 2000 attack and 1800 defense, and it works like that. Each time, if this card destroys one of your opponent's monsters by battle and bring it to the graveyard, you have to increase the attack stats of this card by 500 points. A similar effect like his boss monster that he now really had in the show, which is Mystical Beast of Circuit. Earth attribute, 6 stars, and fairy type monster, 2500 attack and 2000 defense. And it in effect works like that. Destroy this card if you don't have Temple of the Kings on the field, or control it. Each time, if this card destroys a monster of your opponent by battle, the destroyed monster is banished, and this card gets 500 attack. So also with the banish effect, additional to that, just adding 500 attack, which Millennium Scorpion also got as an effect. And last but not least, the Winged Dragon of Raah. Now, first of all, Marek Ishtar, he was still then Marek Ishtar, he wasn't changed, he didn't like metamorphs, you could say, or the Yami side didn't quite work him up or take over. So the Winged Dragon of Raah, Marek Ishtar put in his deck before the duel, in order for him to make all of the guys right around him to believe that Odion Ishtar is rightfully Marek Ishtar. Yeah, and Marek Ishtar is someone else. Of course, a divine creature. Why did I choose this yellow vanilla one? Because in the show, in the anime show, Odion Ishtar couldn't play this out because it was a fraud copy. This was a scam, as a matter of fact, so it couldn't be played out. And yeah, you could just see the attacks with question marks, and the defense also with question marks. And of course, it has 10 stars. It's a divine attribute, divine type. Yeah. So, of course, in the real game, you have to change this one up with the real one to make it playable in the Go format. But I think this one looks much cooler, of course. So this was the monster lineup. The Odion Ishtar has very few monsters. As a matter of fact, we just saw these two. I didn't think that makes much sense to have a deck profile with just 2 monster cards. So I made some additions because, like I said, the Scorpion theme was in there and the Snake theme as well. And so yeah, we had that lineup, and of course the trap cards were essential. The Egyptian theme, and climbing up over there, blinking here and there. So this was the monster lineup. Let's get into the spell. So for the spells, I had, as I always do, I am always looking up which cards does this protagonist play out in the anime, which does he play out in the manga, and then which cards are popping up in the games, many games that they existed. Because and of course I also use my own creativity, like you guys said. Saw. So first of all, I have a spell card which he played out in the manga, which is D-Spell. Of course, you can destroy one spell card, or you have to, I don't know, if it's open and it's a spell card and it's destroyed, like a continuous spell card, for example. If it is face down and you flip it face up, if it's a spell card, it is destroyed, and if it's a trap card, you return it back to its original position. Of course, like in Staple, I always have one Monster Reborn in there. And also, of course, in one of the games he had played in the manga, I'm not sure, but yeah. I gave him one Silent Doom. This one was my own creativity that I based it on, because I thought the Doom theme and the Egyptian curse and all this theme that is behind it was very fitting with the Silent Doom. Of course, Silent Doom, you can special summon a monster in face-up defense position with Monster Reborn. Of course, all you might know it right now. You can special summon a monster. Pot of Greed for drawing power. You can draw 2 cards. Swords of a Revealing Light, the first spell card from the cards that are already presented to you guys, which he used in the anime, of course, in order to stall 3 rounds for your opponent to not be able to attack him. Temple of Kings, and 2, very essential to this deck and the core key card in this deck, and it works like that. I explained because also it's in German, so you guys might not know it by now. This camera is driving me crazy today. Yeah, a Temple of the Kings is a continuous spell card, and it works like that. The controller of this card can play out trap cards in the same turn that he set it, or set them. If you have a mystical beast of circuit and this card also on the field, then you can put both of them onto the graveyard in order to choose one monster as a special summon from your hand, your deck, or your extra deck. Yeah, so very cool. Of course, in the anime, he played this card combination out in order to bring the Winged Dragon of Raah out onto the field. But of course, you could use it for any other monster as well. So the Temple of Kings and 2 of course. One addition that I made up of course, like I already said, the snake topic is having also a key role in this deck. So I put in there a Dark Snake Syndrome, which very much reminds me of the Egyptian curses that there existed. And this artwork very much supports my theory. This man on the front seems to be cursed by a snake. Curse. And the effect works like that. During each of the standby phases, you inflict damage to each of the player. This damage begins with 200, so your opponent gets 200, then you get 400, then he gets 800, you 1200, 1600, and then your opponent 3200. So like it goes on if you're like not destroying it, because one of that reason because I got Dispel, and then you can of course destroy this card also. Yeah, so it's doubled on each of your standby phases. Then I do have a reload. Well, if your hand line up is very bad, then you can of course put your card hand into your deck, shuffle it, and draw the same amount of cards back into your hand. So another recycle possibility right there. Then, and this was also an addition that I made up, also the Egyptian theme on the front of the artwork, of course, with the pyramid there, pyramid on the hand. Tribute to the Doomed, a card which also I made up, but also we have the mummy, the mummying of some person by another mummy. Of course, it works like that. You discard one card, and then you can destroy one monster on the field. We also have the tombs in the background, so yeah, it's very much Egyptian themed, and it fits. Gold Sarcophagus, also one of the things that I made up. Of course, you can pick one random card from your deck and then place it or banish it, and then after 2 rounds, I think, the second standby phase after activation of this card, you can take the banished card to your hand. So it's a good search also in there. Secret Passage to the Treasure. That's very Egyptian like, because there were many treasure searches which entered the tombs of the Egyptian kings in order to get all the treasures. So also it fits with that in that sense. And the other one is it has the effect: you choose one face-up monster with an attack of 1000 or fewer on your side of the field, and in this very turn you can attack your opponent's life points directly. And as we have many of monsters with 1000 attack, 1000 or fewer, it very much makes sense. Then Timidity, also the theme with the tombs right there, and also works with that deck very well because we have very many trap cards and spell cards in here. Both players cannot destroy set magic and or trap cards on the field until your opponent's next end phase. So if you line your spell and trap cards up, it's a protective effect. And because in the anime, Odion Ishtar really had in one time 5 set cards on the field, and this is very much so we have a very good protective option right there. So this was the spell cards that I on the one side gave him, and on the other side were in the anime, manga, and maybe also in the games, PC games or console games. Now we get right directly into the trap cards. Now there was a trap card which was called A of Ujat, which redirects attack, but we do not have that in the TCG currently. So like I exchanged it because of the artwork. It works with the Eye of Truth, or resembles the Eye of Truth. But Eye of Truth is a continuous trap card which lets your opponent see your hand cards and you see his or her hand cards. And if no, sorry, you see his hand cards, and once per turn during the standby phase of your opponent, if he or she has one or more spell cards in his hand, he or she gets 1000 life points. Yeah, so also on downside, but the upside, as you can see his or her hand cards. Then, Embodiment of Apophis, a continuous trap card which he played out, which was the famous trap monster that he got. It works like that: activate only during the main phase. After activation, special summon this card. It is treated as a normal monster card. Reptile type, Earth, level 4, attack 1600, attack 1800 defense. And this card is still treated as a trap card. So Odion Ishtar kind of introduced us to the trap monsters, and he had also 3 of them in the anime, so we also give him 3. And then Magic Jammer, he played out, also on the anime. Its effect is it negates the effect in the activation of a spell card and destroys it. In addition, which I made, Trap Jammer. Why shouldn't he possibly have also the Trap Jammer card, which works with traps, of course. The same effect as Magic Jammer, but just with traps. Judgment of Anubis, one of my favorite negate spell and trap destruction negates of all time. I pulled it from the booster, back in the day, but also with the new Dark Crisis, because it's Dark Crisis card. I also pulled it. So the effect is it's an counter trap, which directs at a spell or trap card which has the effect that can destroy spell trap card or cards, also plural, singular or plural. And then you have to discard 1 card in order to make this effect happen. And you can destroy also face-up monster card and inflict damage to your opponent's life points equally to the original attack of the very monster that you destroy. It's a very powerful effect. I used it very many times back in the day. Curse of Anubis, I think a card which you played out in the manga. All face-up effect monsters on the field are changed to defense position during the turn this card is activated. The original defense of those effect monsters becomes 0 and their battle positions cannot be changed. So if he or she has a strong monster line up, then you can change them to defense position. They cannot attack you, not to change the position. Or if you are strong with your attacks and he has a strong defense, then you reduce them to 0 and attack. Also a very good cunning effect to put into play. Widespread Ruin, I don't know, I'm not sure whether it was in the manga or in the one of the computer games. Of course, this card negates 1 attack or destroys a monster which attacks from your opponent with the highest attack among your opponent's attack position monsters. Swamp Mirror, I put it in there as a 3-off, a card which I made up because it was a trap monster, and its effect works like that. Of course, it's a trap monster, so you activate this card by declaring 1 monster type and attribute 1 attribute. Special summon this card as a normal monster with level 4 attack, 1800 attack, and 1000 defense with that attribute and type. This card is also still a trap, so it's even 200 points stronger than the embodiment of Apophis. Then, Statue of the Pain Pattern or Pain Structure. I don't know what it's called in English. Also a trap monster card. Special one this card as a special one as effect monster, rock type earth, level 7, attack 0 but 2500 defense. So if you're like back on the ropes, this is a good defensive posture right there. And if this card is summoned in this matter, it cannot be targeted from the effects of your opponent. And as long as you have other trap cards and control other trap cards, which are also a monster, so it supports that trap monster theme also. If this card is special summoned for a spell and trap monster zone, as long as the card is on the field and is a monster, you can choose one card on the field and destroy it. Also, of course, in continuous trap like the other three also. Then I have one wall of the revealing lights, because we have a sort of revealing light, so I thought this would be also appropriate, and its effect works like that. If this card is activated, then you pay multiple life points per 1,000, and no monster with an attack equal to the life points you paid or higher. Equal or fewer cannot be attacked. So like if you paid 2,500 life points, no monster, for example, no monster with 2,500 attack points can or fewer can attack you. Very handy. Needle ceiling. We again have this Egyptian theme in there, because there's a Egyptian statue. Needle ceiling works like that. You can activate this card only when there are 4 or more monsters on the field. Destroy all face-up monsters on the field. So also a good defensive measure if you back onto the ropes. And well, this was also made up by me. And last but not least, the Mirror Force, which I don't think he had neither in the anime nor in the manga, so also an addition which I made. So this is very much it. Of course, in the future there will be also in GX and in Turbo deck profile from this very cool character. 16 trap cards is more than enough, I think. Other things would be very much exaggerating after my stance at last. But yeah, you have to know it for yourself. And this is one of the few decks which I tested with test hands, and it was very much good playable. So it's for the God format, it's very good playable. Yeah, but I tested it more than one. I think it's 3 or 4 test hands, so it's very much saying a lot. Of course, you can sometimes get into the trouble and the difficulty that you just pull trap and spell cards, but as you also by now should be realizing, your trap cards many of them are monsters as well, so we won't get that much of a trouble with that, well, in that very much in that sense. So guys, this is it. Was my Odion Ishtar Battle City deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, show me some love, and see you on the next one. As always, of course, and good evening, and good morning, and good afternoon, and good midday, whenever and wherever you might witness this one. Yours, Life Maniac, and peace